All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day by OURA Ring. We'll talk about that in a sec. Sitting here, I'm Lance. This is JB Hager, and over there is, I know he looks like he's from Scarface, but that's George Hincapie. We are talking about stage 19, QLN.
Stage 19, Bourg-en-Bresse to Champagnole.
Bourg-en-Bresse? Is that what he said? Should we have a little fun with this on the? We were talking about those funny, fun porn name movies that David Spade changed. We could go through with like every town in the tour and mix it up. No, George's starting to sweat a little bit. Hey, today's
that garage up.
Yeah, it's a little stuffy all of a sudden. Today's show brought to you each and every day, by OURA Ring. Look at this. I mean, this thing. That's it. I was actually just charging it over here on my cradle. What an amazing piece of technology. They're absolutely crushing it as a business, which we're so proud of. Just announced this partnership with UFC, which, of course, Daniel Cormier, one of the big fighters there, was a big fan of the ring and ended up starting to figure out that he was was diagnosed with COVID due to his body temp. Takes so many different measurements. Somebody brought up an interesting point with me the other day about respiratory rate at altitude versus sea level, which is it's been a minute since I've been back down at sea level, but it's a cool thing to think about. Just tells you so much stuff: sleep stages, sleep cycles, latency, core temp, as I mentioned. Head on over to auraring.com. There's our flow code. By the way, thanks to Tim Armstrong and his crew, Ellie and Tim, I got a little flow code swag. They sent me a little flow code swag. Today's show also brought to you by Roka. We don't even need to talk about Roka today because they had a big old day. Again, another stage win with Soren Kragh Andersen.
Which we're hoping to try to get him on the show for a quick call, although he's probably super busy.
That's what I'll let you do that.
Yeah.
Roka is this brand that I've been paying attention to for a long time. They're based out of my hometown of Austin, Texas, started by amazing athletes for badass athletes and vice versa. I love the new Matador. I love also, and I actually more than anything, just love putting them on and looking at myself. These, oh my God. Are you kidding me right now? George. The Silver Fox is catching up, baby. All right, you want to? I know you like to do this, so you can wear them each and every day. And
why? What do you think I look like when I put these on?
You look straight. I swear to God, you look like you're out of Scarface.
Really?
Yeah. Look at it.
First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the girls.
See? So now, if that is not an endorsement for Roka, I don't know what is. I mean, that is unbelievable. And look at this handsome devil. Everybody, check it out. Head on over to Roka. That's ROKA.com. Enter the buy code THEMOVE. 20% off your first purchase. There's our flow code. And you can try to look as good as George Hincapie. Last one for a sec. Today's show brought to you by LMNT. I say it all the time. I love this brand. And as George likes to criticize me every day, I just sweat a lot. I lose a ton of fluid. George probably taking a big pull off the LMNT over there.
I am.
What's cool? We've gotten some data from LMNT, and I just want to give a shout out to the listener or the viewer. They're seeing data from this show that they've never seen before. So thank you all for supporting this company. This is a young company. Again, we got no skin in this game. I've just come across it. I love it. I love the team. And I sweat my ass off. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. It is a total replacement for me, right? And so hydration, folks, just remember, is a really, really key part of your daily life. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. And also, full money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, they don't even say send it back. They say keep it and give it to one of your salty friends. drinklmnt.com/themove. So, JB, I'm going to let you start today because I feel like...
Well, we're gonna start out with slides. We've been doing them later in the show. A lot of people, our listeners have gotten really involved in participating in the show.
Yes, they have.
For the YouTube and Facebook video versions of it. So we'll go ahead and roll through some of these.
Oh no! Whoa! What's happening here? Who would find this photo of? I'm probably 9 years old. Clearly, look at those knee pads.
The reason we brought that up
is what? Wow.
The old man is
The old
49, y'all.
49, baby.
Look at that slide.
Oh. Doesn't that just warm your heart, folks?
5 years old.
Is that 5 candles? Is my mom involved in this? My mom would have to be involved. There's no way. Oh, no. No.
For those who are not watching, there he is. What are you, probably 10 years old on a bike?
Yeah.
BMX
and
bike.
then maybe 14, 11 or 12.
Took a stab at some football.
And then coming out of the water to try, probably 16 years old. They're, by the way, looking kind of yoked. This is, are we done with the birthday stuff?
We have one more. This is yesterday. I had to catch this moment because he's got the double. I mean, I don't even think Roca has ever seen this. The double Rocas.
So, but a couple things. First of all, that's
what's going on here?
That is. That's not. Friends don't take pictures of friends without them knowing, right? I didn't realize you snuck this picture. But here's the reality, okay, on the whole sort of double glass thing. I wear those silver aviators from Roca all the time. And I'm lazy, so if I got to read some, I have no problem slapping my readers over the top of the aviators. And I've actually had people walk across restaurants and go, "Hey, Lance, that's a good look." And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like it is so convenient. But
here we go.
Oh,
here we go.
look
It's
at
the
this.
birthday boy
And my
cake.
favorite. Wow. Thank you, Higgs.
One candle.
And one, that's right. Ready? And before I blow out the candle, so carrot cake is my favorite cake. I love carrot cake.
By the way, in COVID world, you got to fan it out. You can't blow it out.
Yeah, that's a great point, JB.
I'll blow that way. And I made a wish. And my wish is that this birthday shit stops.
Okay.
No, but I will say I woke up to probably 50 text messages. It's just I've been blessed to have just some amazing friends. So thank you all.
All right.
You're welcome.
We'll have the cake.
We'll have the
after.
cake later.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a few more slides before we get into the rest of the show.
The hardcore race fans are like, Jesus.
No.
Bear with us, members and viewers.
Is this going to be worth it?
We're going to do it later.
We're rolling.
Okay, let's jump in today's recap.
You know, it ended up being, I was, these days can be long and boring, but this was an exciting day. I mean, this thing didn't disappoint. And this conversation yesterday about the teams that have not won a tour, of course, this Team Sunweb, hats off to them, man. They came in, I don't think many people expected much. They've totally overperformed. The Soren Kragh Andersen was once again exceptional. I do want to get into one little tidbit that happened yesterday that led into before today's stage. But the cool thing was he was in the break and then obviously went away from the break. He was out of radio communication with his team, so he didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're watching the time gap go up. He got 10 and then 20, and he just kept increasing on a really strong group. But he had no idea. He thought they were right there. I mean, he kept looking. He was asking the moto guy, the TV moto guy, like, "What's the time gap? What's the time gap?"
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure him rolling away there. He had a teammate in the breakaway as well. Didn't expect to get such a big gap. I mean, the guy was just hammering. As I said to Lance this morning, this was a sort of a quintessential classics specialist breakaway today. There was a hard finish. You saw the guys like Trentin, Greg Van Avermaet, Sorensen. I mean, all these guys are the same guys that can win Tour of Flanders, that can attack after a 240-kilometer section and go in the last 20 kilometers.
And Sagan and Bennett just
Exactly.
mirroring each other. And I think that green jersey competition is all but done. But the other interesting thing which happened yesterday, and I didn't catch this till this morning, was there was some situation, and you know more about it than I do, George, with the director of Primož Roglic's team. Apparently they went to inspect his bike after the finish.
Well, not only expected, apparently they went to take apart his bottom bracket in a very sort of rough way. Who knows looking for what, an engine or whatever, some bullshit. But, I mean, apparently the director, rightfully so, kind of just freaked out about it. I mean, the guy, he's on his race bike. He's in the yellow jersey, and here he is, some dude from the UCI about to take apart his bike. So he was not happy about it. made some serious protests and got kicked out of the race. I mean, this is one of those things that you always talk about it. I feel like this is the moment where the team should be like, hey, hang on a second. You can't just take my bike apart that I've been racing on the last 3 weeks, before some of the most important stages left to come, right in the last part of the Tour de France. I mean, that's just, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Well, I thought we'd put this discussion or this potential discussion around motorized doping to bed. But if it's still a discussion or there's some suspicion, there's got to be a way. You can't just yank the dude's, to your point, can't just yank the dude's bike and then have some hack like, I don't know, cranking on the bottom bracket. If they want to do that, right? And look, there are other sports that do that. I mean, look at auto racing. There are refined ways to check engines and suspension and aerodynamics, and they basically inspect these cars in a lab. Yeah, it's not like Jimmy Johnson's coming across the line and somebody's like, get out of the car, and they start driving off and they do whatever they want. No, if they think that's happening, which, by the way, and for the record, it is not happening.
Yeah,
it's not. We got to stop talking about this. There should be almost like a mechanic shop that is a lab that's official and there's protocol there. And I'd be pissed too. I don't know the director's name, but I'd be pissed too.
Not some hack with a wrench about to
I
take
thought
your bike apart.
At the end of the race, they would scan it with like a thermal gun because it would be
thought
hot.
also.
They used to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're taking it a step further, like literally wrenching on someone's bike.
Huh. Anyways, fast start too. That's the other thing. And of course, we talked about yesterday. 12 teams that are seeing their final days. 12 teams haven't won a stage in the Tour, so everybody trying to go away. They covered 31.5 miles an hour in the first hour, which, folks at home, that is fast. I mean, everybody going.
That is insanely fast. And when we turned on the TV in the morning, there was only one guy away, and then Bora was in the front at the back. Clearly, they have not given up their hunt for the green jersey. And I was surprised to see that. I mean, after such hard days in the mountains, putting them back on the front at an early stage like this today, I was pretty surprised to see that.
The other, and I realized this the other day, and I'm not like a big fan of this type of rock and roll, but this Soren Kragh Andersen, I was like, it's such, all these names are weird for me. I don't even know like how to say the names, and he's from Denmark, which I think is somewhere down near Spain. But no, actually, we could pull up.
Come on, our Danish friends are listening.
No, all right, sorry to all you
mad.
Danes. I love you. But I always just try to simplify it. So his initials are ska. So you have it was like a type of rock, which was like No Doubt and all these bands, and it was, he's a ska rocker. Is this what ska sounds like? That doesn't sound like No Doubt. It's close. Yes. So, folks, this kid's going to win a lot more bike races in the future. So just whenever you see him win one, you just, go back and play your favorite ska rock.
This kid is emerging as a classics rider. I mean, that's 2 stages that he won was a typical classics finish, and he was able to pull away from these guys at super, super hard moments in the race, and we haven't seen the last of him.
What I thought was remarkable is it was very similar to what he did on stage 14 a week ago.
Right.
Exactly. That was my point. I mean, he went at a moment where everybody's completely at the limit. There is no team control left, and there's only one person that can attack at that moment, and it was him both times.
But if you're in that group, and not to talk about myself, but I remember going way back to 95, that stage into Limoges when, several days or a week or so after we unfortunately lost Fabio Cassotelli. I got in this breakaway, and everybody's rolling along. It's a strong group, but man, if you just send it at the right time, it's perfect, because when you have so many good guys behind you, they all look at each other and say, you pull, no. They never work together. So if you can get that gap, you can get 10 seconds, it is super hard for them to get organized behind. By the way, Johan Brunel was also in that breakaway that day, but he timed it perfect. And when he got that gap, man, he just put his head down.
He did, and
then
you're right.
You know what he said?
Seeing the douches.
He says, seeing the douches.
Here's what he did say in a post-race interview. I just have the text here. He said, when the group was there, they had all the best riders in the world on hilly terrain, and I thought, how do I beat these guys? The moment came after Trentin attacked really hard. I was also at the limit, but I thought that if I just got a small gap, might catch them looking at each other, and that's exactly what happened, and I was lucky.
Is there an echo? I feel like there's an echo here.
I know.
But that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And they'll never get organized. There's no way they all look at each other as equals and say, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was, when the gap was 10 seconds, at that point, somebody like CCC with Trentin and Greg Van Avermaet, one of those guys got to say, screw it. I'm all in for you, and just go up there and get him as close as possible. And at least the rest of the breakaway will kind of smell blood in the water. But they didn't do that, which I think was a mistake. And he just rode away. Not only did he get a 10-second gap initially, but he just kept putting more and more time on those guys, even though they were still going pretty hard behind him.
Yeah. The other crazy thing that happened, excuse me, was this incident with Lucas Postelberger, who, for those who have ridden outside, you always, I mean, especially up here, we get a lot of bees and little insects in the summer that, man, they can lay a sting on. I've only ever had it once happen where I started to feel some constriction in the throat. He got stung in the mouth by a bee or a wasp, and the video footage is straight up terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy looked like he was going to die. And he must have had that same reaction where your throat swells up, and it's a freaky thing to have happen. And he was laid out.
They probably hit him with an EpiPen or something like that.
So he's unfortunately out of the race. But I mean, what's the chances? Well, Eki got stung in the mouth one year.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And so it's
just terrible luck. They needed him today as well. I mean, he was a big part of the Bora team, and it was super sad to see.
Yeah. Should we talk about tomorrow?
We can talk a lot about tomorrow.
Do you have more embarrassing stuff for me?
We do have some embarrassing slides coming.
Awesome. I love that. Today's show also brought to you by PowerDot. I love this company. We invested in them many, many years ago. They continue to impress and evolve. This is it, right? It fits in. And I wanted to bring over today, I have actually upgraded my fanny pack game. A friend of mine, Scott Mellon from North Face, brought over a Merce. And for those that don't know, a Merce is a man purse. So the PowerDot would easily fit into my new Merce. I might bust that out for you guys tomorrow. Used by a bunch of riders in the Tour, a bunch of athletes in the NFL, MLB, PGA, 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't love it, which you will, so I'm just saying, send it back. 20% off with the code THEMOVE. Head on over to powerdot.com/TheMove. And again, the code is THEMOVE. Last one, and this is a cool story because I rode their new gravel bike yesterday for a while, and then I went out and hammered George on the mountain bike. But this is my first ride on Ventum's new gravel bike. We all know, and we talked about gravel on the Tour yesterday, and they wouldn't have put it in the Tour if it wasn't all the rage in cycling. Their new gravel bike is amazing. Like this thing, I was shocked. I was like, damn. I mean, the way it rides, the geometry, handles perfectly, absolutely incredible. They're also giving away bikes, right? All right, so you saw all those pictures of me in Garland, Texas, and Richardson, Texas, and Plano, Texas, all these goofy suburbs of Dallas that I grew up in. What are you laughing at? Because you grew up there too.
I've lived in Dallas on a few occasions.
Yeah. Free bikes, folks. Free bikes. Who don't want a free bike? Head on over to ventumracing.com/themove. 20% off any purchase until the end of October. You'll also enter to win your own bike. That NS1 I've been riding, the road frame, is a rocket ship. And they're also the worldwide global bike partner for Ironman. Tomorrow, well, I think the big questions are equipment choices, right? And we've gotten some scoops.
There's a lot of questions for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And things to talk about.
And well, to me, there's two things. And one is equipment choice. Well, there's three things. There's what happens. All right. Let's not forget there's still a race going on. Equipment choices, and then we talked about yesterday, maybe we can talk about it first, is this competition for the polka dot jersey.
Yep.
And we weren't really beamed up. We got a little intel, which we'll play for you. We were just trying to figure, it's still 2 points on the polka dot jersey competition. So what happens between Carapaz and Pogačar on this incredibly a huge honor of having the polka dot jersey?
Oh, now it's a huge honor.
Well, now that the best climbers in the race actually could potentially stand on the top step in Paris with the jersey that represents that skill set, yeah. Well, now we can talk about it.
There's no doubt that's going to be a huge part of the race tomorrow. And we were on our bike ride yesterday, climbing out Smugglers, and we got I got a nice voice text message from our buddy Daniel Lloyd, who's with GNC in Eurosport Europe. And we're going to play it, right?
Yeah, I've got it.
So we got the intel of how the points will work tomorrow because we did not know that when we ended the show yesterday. So I appreciate
and by the way,
Daniel.
Daniel, by the way, that's so dope that you're listening to the move.
Yes.
Love that.
We loved it. They made our ride.
Yep.
Here it is.
Hey George, I was just listening to the move. I realised towards the end of the stage I didn't know how the King of the Mountains points were attributed on the time trial on Saturday. But according to the Tour de France Twitter, it's the time from the bottom to the top of La Planche de Belleville, which I guess changes things quite a lot because Carapaz can go relatively easy to the foot and as quick as he can to the top, whereas Pogacar can't let his foot off the gas from start to finish.
Oh, makes sense.
So Daniel says it perfectly, right? Yep. So Carapaz has this opportunity to he can ride, 30 kilometers at a moderate pace and then just absolutely go as hard as he can up the final climb.
Because he doesn't care where he ends up time-wise.
And obviously Pogacar has to race max the whole way.
Yeah, which is a big difference.
It's a big difference.
So think about that. He can Carapaz can hit the bottom of the climb at 150 heart rate, kind of well within zone 3, well within his limits, where Pogacar's basically got to be a threshold from the start. And then it's a big difference, but who knows? I mean, the guy's riding so strong right now that he might still be able to pull it off.
I agree with that.
And it's the way they should be doing King of the Mountains anyway.
Yeah, I think maybe they're listening. But not for nothing, this idea, and we'll get into the equipment changes. So Carapaz, based on what we just heard and said, he doesn't have to make a bike change. So there's all the complicated stuff around switching the bike and what stuff can go wrong. But there is always a change in geometry. So if for example, Roglic, Pogacar, if they change bikes, which we think they will, they're going to go as hard as they can on a TT bike, and then they're going to switch to a road bike that's, in terms of seat tube angle, geometry, they're going to feel different, right? It's going to be like...
Think about that, though. Like, even for Carapaz, he's going to go relatively easy on the flat part, but isn't it easier on a time trial bike in the time trial position? He could save energy and go half gas, change his bike. He won't be in a huge rush to change his bike or a huge stress to change his bike. He can change his bike a kilometer before, get comfortable on his climbing bike.
Stop, check tech
hit
messages.
the start line and let's go. Vamos, KOM.
I mean, time will tell. But
that's what I would do.
And I would not do that. So time will tell. But if I were him, I would start on the bike that you want to ride up that climb as fast as possible. I just think there's a natural transition there that's not easy. Just me. So
you wouldn't,
Richard, if you're listening, you know what to do.
So if you were going for the KOM jersey,
yep.
I want you to think about this. And you had 15 kilometers of basically flat till you hit this climb. You would not ride your time trial bike, even though you were not in a rush to change a bike. You can have the lightest setup possible. Jump off your bike 1 kilometer before the start, spin it out, then boom, let's go. Hit the climb all full gas.
If I have to say it again, I will, but I wouldn't. I would stay on that bike and get in that rhythm and not. I think there's a natural adjustment and change there. I wouldn't, and I don't think he will. I think he should ride it on his road bike.
All right, we'll see.
If you were going for GC tomorrow, would you do a bike change?
Now, I don't. That's a tougher one. I don't personally think that, and I know George disagrees with me. I think the most important thing in time trials is the position. I don't think the bike. They sell you all these fast things and all these, TT bike. How's that drink over there? A little more ice in there, George. Unreal.
Tea, baby.
We'll turn. JB's like sprinting for the volume thing, but I think the position is the most important thing. Apparently they've got these these bike changes down to a real science, and they can get it done in a shockingly short amount of time. So that changes things a little bit, but I don't know.
By the way, this is coming from a guy who's done the bike change. Tour of Switzerland, maybe even the Tour de France. You've done that before.
I don't remember that.
So why are you saying you shouldn't do it now?
I don't know. It's a long time ago. I'm 49 years old.
Give us the stage. I know Johan knows exactly, but it was definitely a stage in the Tour of Switzerland, and I think even the Tour de France. But you've done that where you rode your time trial bike and then hopped on a bike, arguably 2 or 3 pounds lighter for the climb, which mentally is a big difference as well.
Yep.
But these guys, I can tell you this from the inside scoop, they have this down to a science. They've practiced this bike change. The bike change has to come from the car behind. It's not like some random dude or some
They can't be waiting on the sideline.
They can't be waiting for him on the sideline. And it's actually, surprisingly enough, I thought it was about 20 seconds, but apparently it's a lot less than that. They've got it down that close to the wire. But think about the stress the mechanic's going to be going through to pull that bike off the top of the roof and get everything actually perfect. I mean, that's a Formula One style bike change.
Well, and the other question that Johan brought up was the question of gearing, right? So you obviously the gearing for TTs is very different. You have a really large front chain ring. So it there's other things outside of the weight of the bike, the aerodynamics of the bike, the fit of the bike. Then you start getting into this idea of gearing, and obviously on a climb like that, they want to have that gearing when they shift up a cog. They want that adjustment to be as fine as possible and not have that big jump, which you might have on a TT bike.
And we've also heard from some of the insiders there that Tajay's already done this course 3 times and has actually done the course full race simulation 1 time. So he's actually already raced it. And so in his mind, he's as prepared as he can be. And one thing we need to point out as well is we talked about this whole yesterday when they brought back Demoulin and Wout van Aert, helping Port come back. I mean, the sort of the word around the peloton is that Jumbo is actually super nervous. The fact that they made that big of an effort to come back to take away 4 seconds from Primoz, it's got to say something. So they're not actually totally comfortable with the 57-second gap. They're trying to get every second they can at the moment.
Wait, you're getting intel that they're nervous with a minute lead?
It's not coming from them. It's
No,
coming
of
from
course.
how other people are seeing what happened yesterday. That situation, I was actually pretty surprised too. It was like, why are Demoulin and Wout van Aert going so fast to try to get this bonus away from Primoz? It's 4. We're talking about 4 seconds. He's got 57 seconds. So the word on the street is that perhaps they're not as comfortable as we all think with that 57-second gap.
Well, I think it's healthy to be focused, and you got to be a little bit nervous, but I don't unless something really drastically goes wrong. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I mean, it'd be
either.
a
It's
hell
not
of a
likely.
story. I mean, if we're all sitting at home.
It's great that they're covering all their bases and trying to get every second they can.
So Johan has informed us via the group text here that I did make a bike change at the Chamrouz time trial. So, I don't know. A lot's happened since then. So 2001, he said.
A lot of your training rides would be 3 hours on the road bike, hop on the TT bike for the last 2 hours. So you definitely trained that, changing that position, although they haven't done a time trial yet in this Tour de France. So it's definitely going to feel weird. They'll ride probably in the morning and do a different setup. But they got to change bikes.
Yeah, last rider doesn't go off till 5:15 p.m.
Oof.
So they'll definitely go out for a little warm-up ride.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the weather. You pointed out the other day that some rain was expected on Sunday. Couldn't move up a little bit. Still looks okay at this point.
Yep.
So apparently the first 4 kilometers of this time trial is kind of like a little bit lumpy, not that fast, but from kilometer 4 to the start of the climb is super, super fast. So that's where these time trial bikes will make a big difference.
It's like you're in the bike business.
Hey, you asked me to get the scoop in the morning.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I wake up early, reach out to my people, and I get the scoops for you.
Yeah.
I think don't you guys all have a sense that the nothing's going to change for Roglic or Pogačar, but what about third on the podium?
That's
the big question.
That's the big question. Right?
That's a huge
and it's
question.
a big deal.
It's a massive deal. And
unless you're me, I got third in the Tour de France in 2009. I fucking hated every second of it.
Hey, look, if
Fucking hated it.
on a normal day, if they're both good, Richie Port's going to take a minute out of Lopez on 15-kilometer flat time trial.
At least.
So
I think he's a minute per 10K guy.
Yeah, and we saw how good Richie is right now, coming back yesterday, not panicking after a flat tire in a pivotal moment of the race. I don't know. I'm feeling we might be seeing Richie on the podium in Paris.
That'd be a big deal.
That'd be a huge deal.
Then he can go win the Ironman.
Also for Trek as well, they're one of the 10 teams in the whole race that do not have a stage win. So I mean, they're having a great tour. They're up there on all these mountain stages, but clearly they want to be on the podium in Paris.
A minute 39 behind. Richie Port is a minute 39 behind Miguel Angel Lopez, who also, while Richie Port's going to go on to win the Ironman, Lopez at 5'4", 130 pounds, I swear he might go ride Secretariat if the horse ever comes back and win the Kentucky Derby. 5'4", 130 pounds. Richie Port's not exactly a big guy either, but he can TT.
But it helps Lopez that this has that kick up at the end.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Lopez is climbing amazing right now. But the point is that by the time they get to the start of the climb, they might actually be on equal terms in time-wise. So it depends on who rides that climb faster.
We have breaking news.
All right, what you got?
Johan, and I'm really glad that I have not lost my mind. I've lost my mind in other ways, but not like this. He says, I actually have to take back that story, Lance. You did not make a bike change in 2001. We made everyone believe you were going to make one, but then we didn't. Booyah to the hoo-ha.
Johan, we might have to double check that because why do I remember this as a bike
because
change?
you fell for it, just like everybody else. You a sucker.
So you rode the road bike the whole way?
Uh-huh. So there. What else we got, JB? George has things he has to do. He's got his peeps coming in on the jizzies.
Oh God.
He's got a couple jizzies coming in today with all his peeps. How's this? Oh, my friend. What? I have to head to the airport and pick up my friend in the private jets.
Really?
Can I borrow your car, Lance?
We have a few more slides to share with you.
Oh, boy.
And a new contributor.
Actually, I hope we have one in there. If we don't, I'm leaving. This I want to remind everybody. And
hey,
again,
I thought we were waiting on this.
Hold on. If you're not watching, just go back and kind of fast forward through whatever, get you 30 minutes in. So we did the yoga yesterday with Anna. That's her foot there, by the way. And here's George looking pretty good. I'm not really sure what's under the shorts there. Are those some sort of?
Those are my tennis shorts.
That's weird. Okay, but he's looking good. Everybody was bragging and saying nice things to him after about how flexible he was. I have no flexibility. But one of our loyal viewers and listeners, followers, modified that particular picture based on. Oh no! And this is an actual ad of a lady. I think that's a lady. It must be a lady in the bathtub, shaving her legs, and it just says "lather and shave in one easy stroke."
That is. Hey, bring out the boomstick. That's a solid run at the Boom yellow jersey for the final week.
And I have refused to tell you.
Apparently, it's a friend of mine that sent you that.
You've blamed a lot of people for mocking that one up, but you're wrong about everybody. It's our mutual friend Gareth Evans.
Oh my word, Gareth! Really? I thought we were boys.
That was a fucking burn. Oh snap! What happened right here?
Oh no!
Who mocked up George Hincapie?
That's not even funny.
As Borat.
This is Paulo Ferreira.
And it clearly cannot be George because this man Borat has not shaved his legs. But you look exactly like him.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's messed up.
Paulo also sent this one.
Chips.
I like that one.
No, I
grew up on this show.
I grew up on Chips. For those who grew up in the 80s, man, Chips was Poncherello and the whole crew. That's actually a good one. And you know what's cool about that picture is that only one of those three guys is a sworn-in deputy sheriff here in Pitkin County, and that'd be me. Seeing the douches, it says.
I like that.
Okay. Is there more?
No.
Is this the Ginsu knife
Wait,
ad?
here's one more. This is the whole bunkhouse team.
Oh, this is my favorite right here.
This is your favorite. And for those who have been listening, George is a big fan of the show Yellowstone.
Huge fan.
Somebody sent this in for us, but this is cool.
Wait, so does that make me Casey?
I don't know the people's names, but you got myself and George. Higgs makes an appearance.
Oh, wow.
Chief Engineer Ashish Patel is up on the fence. Then you got JB and the man who makes it all happen, Dave the Bolchka. Bolch
who never shows up.
Bolch hasn't. He's like, I don't want to be. Higgs is the one who does. He never wants to be. He's like, I don't want nobody to know who I am.
I need the team to send me this picture.
Okay, we'll send it to you. The move.
That's it for the slides, I believe.
Okay.
Johan has a special guest on La Movida today.
Really?
With Victor, yeah. Guy Fabio Rodriguez, who discovered Egan Bernal at age 10.
Wow.
And developed him.
Huh.
Amazing.
So they're going to bring him into the show today.
Awesome. That's cool. Johan's always coming up with cool shit.
Don't miss La Movida today.
La Movida. If you speak Spanish.
Yep.
Or not. Or you can start to learn Spanish.
Yeah. And then, of course, Johan and I will do that follow-up show, which is, you can get in the Move audio feed wherever you get your podcasts.
So we just got the more breaking news. So Joe Natale, who's got a bone to pick with everybody and a real chip on his shoulder. Joe Natale did the move stone, Yellowstone, the slide.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
So
he's kicking it up a notch.
Joe's back with a vengeance.
Joe, I have one request for you, right? I need this before the last day, if at all possible. One request.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say what it is. I just need it.
How's he gonna hear it? You guys like DMing each other?
I got our team.
Oh, you got
out.
people.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I got people.
A few messages real quick. It says it's surprising the disparity of what Hincapie remembers about the good old days and how, for the most part, Lance doesn't remember it at all.
I know.
Why is that?
I just it's, and I'm not making this up. I've always look, the other podcast we do is the Forward. I don't sit around, and not that George does or any of our old competitors, but once it's done, it's done, and you got to move forward with life, and whether it's good stuff or bad stuff, and you just put it behind you, and there's a few things I remember. I remember other things that would probably surprise people, but moveon.org, baby.
All right, here's another one from the French Lobster.
The
most troubling thing with Alain is that now that I've seen him in person, I find him more mysterious than when he was only a voice.
That's in Alain. He would like that. Like that's,
sure.
You could be the most interesting man in the world, like George, or you could be the most mysterious man. And I know Alain very well. He would prefer the latter.
Here's a message from Holy Cannoli.
Where are people getting these names? What was the first one? The French Lobster?
It's
the Holy Cannoli? What next?
It's their YouTube screen names.
Oh.
Love the podcast. Could Lance and George take a minute to explain how remarkable it is that Valverde is so high in the GC after 18 stages at age 40?
40. I mean, look, Alejandro Valverde is the day he came on the scene, he was good. And he's been through all of, very similar things that George and I went through and whatever. He's managed to stay in the game. But say what you want, he was good on day one. He was winning in his first year, and he's just continued. It's been, I don't know, 18 to 20 years of this. He's a Hall of Famer for sure, and it's not surprising.
Not only that, and he's actually, per his standards, he's not having a great Tour de France.
Right, true.
He didn't go there to get top 10 overall. Mm-hmm. But I am seeing now, though, he could potentially be a favorite for the World Championships next weekend.
How many more years is he going to race?
I heard he was going to do another 2, but I think just recently he started saying maybe not.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to hang up them boats.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We got 2 more days of this.
Big day tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Big day tomorrow. And then of course, the final day into Paris. But tomorrow is, anything can happen, and it'll be fun to watch. So we'll catch y'all tomorrow. And for those that are in Indianapolis, where I'm, this is weird. Not weird, but it's just weird that for me that. I'm going to be in Indianapolis tomorrow night. So for the YPO group in Indianapolis that I'm hauling ass out there to talk to, I'll be there on time, and don't fear. And we also have a little surprise for Sunday morning show.
Oh yeah,
the final day of the move for this year's Tour de France. We got a little surprise, and it's not a Merce or a Granny Pack or anything like that. But I will be in Indy tomorrow night, and then we'll be back here for the show Sunday morning.
So you better be back on time.
I'll be back on. Don't you worry about me, bro.
We'll end the show on a big happy birthday for the old man here. Right. Looking forward to spending the day with you.
Thank you, brother.